Hello, everyone. Come on in. It is tea time with Liz. It is our first Monday of August. Happy August to everyone. It is my birthday month as well, so this is the best month ever. But shout out to where you are tuning in from. If it's your first time, let us know as well. But go ahead and tag your sisters, tag a friend. Tonight, we are going to be talking about sisterhood from a natural sister's perspective. I'm super excited to have two amazing sisters with me tonight. But before we get into all that good tea, of course, we do our tea time announcements. So, um, if you haven't yet, you need to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It is Tea Time with Liz Clark. You can find us, subscribe. You can see all the past season episodes as well, to catch up on all that good tea that has been spilt out. So definitely subscribe and tune in on YouTube. Of course, we want you to follow us here on Facebook and IG as well. I haven't been doing my best on sending the weekly affirmations, but I'm going to get better. Pray for your girl, okay? But follow us for all the tea that comes throughout the week. Like I said, I'll let you know when our next episode is, what we'll be talking about, who our guests are. And also, like I said, try to share a little bit of affirmation to build our self-worth. That has been our season theme this year, is talking about self-worth. So like I said, I'm super excited to have these two amazing sisters with me tonight. But also want to throw in the plug for next time, which will be the third Monday of the month, which will be, I think, August 15th. I have a special guest with me that Monday, Lady Tyson. She will be with me, and we will be talking about sisterhood, just sister relationships, and continuing on this journey of self-worth along with our sisters. So that is the theme this month. So make sure you stay tuned for that. That is going to be a great episode as well. But nevertheless, let us get into tonight's episode. I am super excited to have these two amazing sisters. Their family was probably one of the first families I met when I came to Minnesota. Oh my gosh, back in like 2003, 4. And we have been, I call them family, ever since. Shout out to if any of our Shiloh family is watching tonight. I missed the festivities. I have not been feeling well. So I had to keep myself in closed doors. But nevertheless, like I said, these two amazing women, they are mothers, they are business women, they are women of God as well. They love the Lord. But I love their swag. I'm gonna say it like that. I love their aura. They just have such an amazing presence about themselves, and I am super excited to introduce to you, I call her Tia and Adrian. So let me bring them up in here. Hello, ladies. How are you tonight?
Hi, Liz. Hello. We're doing great. Good.
Yeah. We are so happy to have both of you here tonight to talk about sisterhood on Tea Time with Liz. But before we get into all the good tea, just tell the viewers a little bit about yourselves.
I'm Tia, Jan Tia. I am a mother of one child who's almost grown. He'll be going into a senior year of high school this fall. So I'll be an empty nester soon. Also, I've done just about everything. If it's something I'm interested in, I've done it. But I'm currently studying herbalist, and so I'll be a clinical herbalist when it's all said and done. And I'm super excited about that. That's me.
All right, Miss Adrian.
I am Adrian. I am sister, of course, mother of 5 children, 3 boys, 2 girls. I know people don't know that, when they see me. But yes, I have a whole team. Um, yeah. I am on a journey. I was divorced a little bit ago, so I'm on that whole journey of, discovery and loving myself and finding my own self-worth and being comfortable in my own skin.
I get it.
So yeah, I'm just living and enjoying and getting to know myself. So yeah, so I'm just on this whole journey discovery thing going right now. So yeah, that is where I am currently. Yeah, also like transitioning careers into technology.
Nice.
So, but yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Listen, as you all see, they wear many hats, and hands are out to you all for all that you all do. So I know we'll get some good tea tonight from you all. Like I said, you guys have truly been family to me since now I'm returned a little bit from South Dakota to Minnesota, but I have always admired your sisterhood. You also have other sisters, but you guys have been the two that I've seen the most. And so tonight, like I said, we want to talk about self-worth because sometimes it can be hard to find who you are, where you belong. Being so close to your sisters. And so how do you keep that sister relationship, still knowing who you are, but yet still being able to, grow close together. So, but the first question I ask all my guests, of course, because we are talking about self-worth, what does self-worth mean to you? So who would like to start?
Self-worth to me is respecting yourself, valuing yourself, seeing the greatness within yourself, just loving yourself. Yeah, I think just understanding and knowing that you are deserving of all things that are good, and just being open and accepting those things. That's what self-worth is for me.
I love it. I love it. Okay. Yeah.
Self-worth to me is knowing that you were fearfully and wonderfully made.
Yes.
That not just that, but God knew you before you were even formed in your mother's womb. So he had a specific purpose for you. He had a specific task for you to do. And he created you to be different from everyone else. So my self-worth is dependent on who he created me to be. It's on loving who he made me and how he made me. It's embracing all my little differences because those differences, they're what makes me unique and it helps fit into the puzzle. I say everyone in the world is a puzzle and we're each a piece. And so we're each supposed to be different and unique and fit in that puzzle. And that's what makes the world. And that's what makes us us. So it's really valuing who you are, being comfortable with who you are, loving who you are, and owning who you are.
Come on. Listen, I hope you all got your tea and your notebooks and everything else, because just after that, listen, I mean, I don't know what else to say. That is amazing. That is amazing. I love everything that you both said, especially Adrian, when you talked about how we're deserving of good things. I don't know why it's so hard for us sometimes, especially even if we make mistakes in life or bad things happen in life, does not mean that we're not self-deserving of good things. So I love that you pointed that out. And Tia, the whole like just being different and embracing that and knowing that you matter though in that being different. If you don't recognize that, if you don't see that, you will be missing a puzzle piece and there will be a vacant slot for a while, right? So I truly, truly love all of that. That is amazing. So my next question then is, what have you discovered about your self-worth recently?
Yes. What I've discovered about my self-worth lately is that I demand the things that I feel I deserve and the things that I want. I used to be quiet about those things. feeling like, oh, I don't want to burden this person, or who am I to ask for this? Who am I to want that?
Right.
And so now, well, after hitting 40, something just sparked in me. And it's like, no, I deserve that. I'm worthy of this. I want this. I want things this way. I don't like things this way. I feel comfortable here. You know, I feel like, you know, I matter. My feelings matter. You know, I just start speaking out a little bit more and demanding the things that I want and those things that make me comfortable. You know what I mean? So that's what I've discovered about myself.
No, before you answer, Adrian, okay, I'm going to ask another question. Sorry, this is on the program, but because I love that you've discovered to know that you have power and authority to proclaim what you want to have in your life and what you don't, like somewhat setting those boundaries or believing what you deserve once again. So was it just age, or did you just like what gave you that willpower to be able to just say, hey, this is what I want?
I think throughout my 30s, that 30 decade, the third decade of my life was like a trying decade. Like I went through so much. And I remember like at 29, I chopped all my hair off. I remember my stylist thought I was crazy. She was like, I'm not cutting your hair off. I said, well, if you don't, I'll cut it off. It's my hair. I want it off. But I think I went into this journey of just discovering me. And it was a roller coaster ride. I made a lot of mistakes. I did a lot of wrong things. But at 30, I learned so much about myself. I learned about the things that didn't make me happy, those things that upset me, those things that made me sad, those things that made me happy. And, you know, and I have to be honest with you, Liz, I kind of lost myself in people and in relationships and in my child, and I forgot who I was. And so I was like the prodigal son. I was so far away from home, so far away from being me. And I think once I hit 40, something just clicked. Like, no, do you remember who you were? Like, do you remember who you were? Because you're not that person, you know? And so I think just going through those stages and those phases in my 30s, once I got to 40, I was just like, you know what? It's a new day. It's a new decade, you know?
I love it. No, seriously, that I think I'm getting there. So I totally can relate to it. I'm getting there. I'm starting to demand some things. I get it. So no, that's good. That is really good. All right, Adrian, what have you recently kind of expounded a little bit earlier, but tell us a little bit more on your journey so far with self-worth recently.
Well, for me, I would say that I was more of a people pleaser. So in my self-worth, I discovered to set more boundaries and give more to myself instead of trying to give more to others. I think in that whole people pleasing, we want to show up, we want to be the best for someone else, but not the best for ourselves. Right. So in my whole discovery, I'm like, look, Adrian, what do you need? You know, let's do more of this for you and less of this for others. I'm still giving, but I'm putting myself first and making sure that I have what I need, because I can't pour out from an empty, you know, cup. So.
No, that is so good. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're going to take a side note because this is good tea. I promise you. Because as women, I think it is a woman's thing because we're naturally nurturers, right? Mm-hmm. So we tend to lose ourselves quite a bit, and we tend to pour ourselves out so much to other people, like you said, and we forget about ourselves, or we come home empty. So, what had to change, and have people respected those boundaries or those changes that you guys had to make?
So what had to change is me saying no, right? Because you always want to say yes to everything. And then sometimes even saying yes will disappoint others when you can't show up and, you know, because you're exhausted and you don't have anything in your cup. So I had to start saying no. And then, and even with my family in the beginning, they were like, Adrian, excuse you? Like, what are you doing? What do you mean you're saying no? Like, they expect you to do everything. Yeah. And when you say no, it really throws them off. But then when they see that, okay, this is her. This is the path she's chosen. She knows what she needs, and they start respecting that. And everybody's okay with it. So I think once you continue to stay consistent with that and setting your boundaries, people will start respecting it, and then you won't have issues. Yeah.
That's so good. Go ahead.
I think also with myself, I needed validation from everyone. That was the wounded little girl in me who sought validation from everybody. I needed people to validate who I was, what I should do, who I should be around. And it came to, well, I'm trying to please everybody else too and make them feel good, you know? Oh, they want me to be like this. They want me to look like this. They want me to act like that. And it was taking me so far from me that, you know, it was starting to weigh so heavy on me. So I slowly started drifting away because I'm like, Tia, you don't need validation from anyone else, you know? The only validation you really need is from God. And how you feel. Like, what do you want? How do you feel? Do you feel like that person's a good person to be around? Do you think that what you're wearing is beautiful? Do you think your hair is pretty? Do you think your makeup is pretty? You know, I had to start asking myself that and stop worrying about what everybody else thought, because I couldn't keep living my life based on what everybody else wanted, what everyone else thought. And I did that for so many years. And it's just like, Tia, what do you want? You know what I mean? What do you want? Who are you, girl? You know, and so I think that was one of the things that clicked for me also in this journey is, girl, get back to who you are. I call it my homecoming, Liz. I call it the homecoming.
Yes, absolutely.
Coming back to that unique person God created me to be. And so I'm not saying it's been a perfect road, but let me tell you, it's been a beautiful road.
Come on. Listen, this is about to turn, okay? We were supposed to talk about sisters, but hang on. This is some really good tea, and I'm about to cry myself. Like, I need this myself. No. But seriously, like, I am not even joking. Like, I've definitely been on that homecoming journey since I've been back. And so I totally get everything you said. And it's and if there's any young woman out there, any young girls, any teenagers, like, please heed to what we are saying now. We are close in our late 30s. Well, I'm in my late 30s, they're in their 40s. Like, don't wait. Don't waste time. Like, we are saying this to help you so that you don't have to make those same mistakes. Be who you want to be, and it doesn't matter what other people say. I can't believe how many years we waste on other people's opinion or what other people want us to be and who they say we should be. You know, so many ways. So, I mean, like I said, I get everything that you say, and especially, you know, being a mother, you know, being a woman of career, like it's very hard to be committed to yourself. You can get very lost in all the day-to-day functions, but you have to make that promise to yourself. You've got to stay committed, and like you said, staying consistent with the boundaries, saying no, knowing what you need and what you don't need. So I'm loving this. Okay, well, let's get back on track. This is so good. This is so good. All right, so like I said, so you guys definitely have shared some great wisdom on your recent, you know, self-worth journeys. Was it hard to discover your self-worth being sisters?
Oof. All right. You know, so growing up, Liz, our parents used to always tell us that they used to let us know you're special, you're unique, you be you. You know what I mean? You're not like this sibling. You're not like that sibling. You are you for a reason. And they taught us to be confident and to present ourselves right to the world and things like that. And so I don't think that was ever an issue for us, because that's something they instilled in us early on, you know, and even like through our teen years, our adult years, even to right now, they still, it's the same message, even when they see us kind of slip by the wayside, it's no, you're nice just the way you are. You're beautiful just the way you are. You know what I mean? Hold your head up. Why are you down? Be confident in who you are. Those are messages that our parents have told us, especially my mom. She has drilled that in us. She used to make us stand up when we were little. And she used to make us affirm things to ourselves. And so I think that really helped us, even if we kind of forgot about it, we bring it back because it was instilled in us.
Well, for me,
on my hand.
For me, our parents, they definitely instilled in us a lot of great things to like be confident and be comfortable with who you are. And I think that's a lot of what we display now is because of them. But I will say that growing up, because I was the sixth child out of seven, right? So yeah, she was the second to the oldest.
Okay.
So me being the younger person, I had to look up to them, right? I had to figure out, like, do I need to be like this person? Can I be comfortable with who I am, or do I need to be a cheerleader like her? Do I need to get good grades? Do I need to do all of these things that resembles my sister so I can be, the best? And then my mom can love me and she'll think that I'm as great as her. That's because Tia was the special child when we grew up. So
all right, putting sisters on blast.
Right. So it was a lot of just, and then too, my sisters, I was always like slim and thin, and I'm like, well, they got everything from my mom. Why didn't I get any of that? Right. So right. I had to get comfortable in my own skin and be comfortable with who I was and know that, I'm okay the way I am. I value myself the way that I am. And so growing up, it was a little rocky, but yes, our parents did instill those things in us, but I still had to realize that I was comfortable in my own skin and I didn't need to be like my sisters. It was okay for me to be me, that I was special, right?
Right.
So yeah.
No, and I'm glad that you pointed out, because I should have said that earlier or asked earlier, who's older, who's younger, because that definitely plays a role, right? It definitely plays a role. Shout out to all the older sisters out there. I'm an older sister, so I get it. But it's a lot of pressure though for us older sisters. I can say that. So we feel like we have to hit the mark, and I'm sure Tia can definitely relate that you feel like you have to be something for your younger siblings, but the younger siblings obviously feel a different way. So but which brings me to, I'm going to actually ask Tia this question, because you kind of already pointed, there was a little bit of pressure growing up, having to try to be like your sisters, or, being in their shadow. So Tia, being the second oldest, did you really feel that pressure of, having to be like an older sibling, or, even hitting the mark of having to be, somewhat perfect?
Well, so there was one older than me. And to me, my older sister was the perfect sister. She was the perfect sister, because she did everything my mom told her to do. And then not just that, but she was just popular. She was a tomboy and everyone liked her. And, she was very outgoing. And, I wanted to be like her, but I could never be like her, So when it came down to my younger siblings, I felt like there was pressure on me from my mom and my dad that I had to be a certain way. Like I couldn't get out of being in certain things. Like I had to be in certain organizations, certain things at church that I didn't want to be a part of, things like that I had to be a part of. And it's, you need to set an example for your siblings. And it's just like, well, I don't want to do that. This is my life. This is my life. Make me do this. I don't want to sing in the choir. I don't want to be a debutante. I don't want to do that stuff. But my mom, she made me do it. I'm grateful for it now. But at the time, I'm like, I just want to be with my friends. I just want to be normal. But I felt like there was pressure on me to be perfect, like in the home, in school, and she wanted me to be this good church girl. And because I had younger siblings, you know, looking up to me, so it was tough. It was really hard. It was really hard.
No, and like I said, I could totally relate. Sorry, Adrian, but I totally can relate on that pressure of, you know, like you said, always hitting the mark, doing things you don't want to do. You know, I feel like parents, they take the older ones and they like, it's like a trial and error situation. Like, you know, they just throw you out there, see what happens, and then, you know, if you don't like it or if it didn't work out, then maybe the second or the next one doesn't have to do as much, or they do have to do as much. You know, it just all depends. But like I said, I can totally relate to all of that. And so then next, growing up, like I said, you kind of dealt with you know, trying to find your individuality, but yet still, like I said, stay sisters. So do you feel though as self-worth for yourselves, being sisters helped in any shape or form?
Oh yes, majorly.
Okay, and in what ways? You guys can both.
Majorly. I think my sisters, my oldest sister especially, because she's the hardcore one. Like she's the one who's gonna drill it into you. Like she would always tell us, like if we felt down about things, she would let us know we're beautiful. Don't be sad about that. You look fine. That's the way you want to dress like that. You know, she would push us to do things, push us to be more. And I appreciate that about her because she would always tell us not to settle. Even to this day, she always says, don't you settle. Like she would go off on us if she thought that we were going to settle. And when we have settled, she has gone off on us.
Yes.
So I think the oldest has really drilled that. But then even for myself, my younger ones have, because they are like my biggest encouragers. All my sisters are my cheerleaders. You know, they're my biggest cheerleaders. They're my support system. They're my rocks. They're my best friends, really. They are my best friends, and they encourage me. And it's I'm getting teary-eyed, but it's different. Like when you are going through so much and you are trying to figure you out and you are trying to get back to you, it is a rough road. It is such a rough road, and you don't know whether you're coming or you're going. It's like you're in the middle of the crossroad, and you're just standing there, and you just don't know which way to turn. And it's crazy, like a whirlwind is going, but you have your sisters there to support you, to pick you up if you fall, to be a shoulder to cry on. You know, those are things that I really, really appreciate about my sisters. So,
Oh, shout out to the sisters. Yes, I love it. I love it. All right, Adrian, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, my sisters, I think, as she said, we all are constantly our biggest supporters, biggest pushers, like constantly encouraging and reminding each other, like, you are great. And I think it stems too down from my mother, because even to this day, when she speaks to us, she speaks greatness within us. So we're constantly like being reminded, like, you are worthy, you are great, you are deserving. And so when you're given that, you have no choice but to give it back. So we give it to each other all the time. When she's like, oh, I'm not sure about this, like, girl, you look fine. You better put that, like, let's go. Or I don't think I can do this. Like, you've done this so many times before. Like, what's the problem now? What's the So, yeah, we are constantly just like each other's reminder that you are worthy and you are okay. You are fine. You can do it. You can make it. So yeah, we rely on each other for that, especially since I think we know a lot of people, but because we're so like introverted, we're kind of quiet, and people may take it the wrong way, but we're so like close because it's like, this is all we got. This is how we feel. Like, I got my sister and that's about it. Like, if I need something, if I go to someone, there's 7 of us. Like, so we're really, really tight. So yeah, we're our big supporters and our big reminders. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And I totally agree. Your sisters are like your best friends. Like, if there ain't nobody else, you got your sister for real. Like, you may be a fight in like 2 seconds, but let them go down.
Oh yes, many times. They were. Where you at? I'm on the way.
Listen, that is amazing. I love it. I love it. So my next question: how did you guys stay confident in your own individuality, as sisters, without having to feel like you had to change or compromise yourself?
Oh, let me go. I think for me, I think I've always been like such a rebel, I must say. So, and kind of stubborn a little bit. So for me, it's always been like, this is who I am, and you guys are going to accept this. So just get with it. And they'll feel however they want to feel. And they may be like, we think that you're better, or that what they think is better for me. Not necessarily what I think is best for me, but what they think is best for me. But because I'm so stubborn, it's like, no, I know what I need for me. I know who I am. And me just being confident in that allows me to stay grounded and comfortable with me being me, and them just respecting that. So
I love that. I love that.
Okay. She knows. I'm sure I'm working her nerves all the time. She does. But I'm still me.
Still me at the end of the day.
I think I'm the wild child with scary Holy Ghost. My mom used to always tell us the Holy Ghost is the revealer of secrets. So we would be scared to do stuff, or she would literally find out things. Mm-hmm. But I've always been like the wild child, but also scared, the fear of God and the fear of my mom. Okay. But I just feel like, if it's something I want to do, I'm going to do it. I went out, got the tattoos, the piercings. I did all those things because that's what I wanted to do in that moment. I became rebellious at 19, extremely rebellious. And it was just because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do that. This was me. This was Tia then. You know what I mean? That's what I was saying. This is me. I used to always tell my mom, this is me. This is people have to accept it. Exactly. But that was my whole thing. Is that's how I was at the time. I think each phase I've gone through, that's what I am right now. That's what I'm feeling. And that's who you guys are gonna have to deal with. And my sisters have been fine with it. Sometimes they're like, "Girl, we'll be glad when you get through this phase. You go to the next one." But I love, I love transforming and transitioning and switching it up. That's me. The wild child. If it's cute to me, it's gonna be cute to everybody.
Yes, I love it. I love it. And I love that you guys, did not hesitate on that question at all. You definitely stood your ground, and you stay confident, knowing that you're different, and knowing that, but you're that spiciness to the pie. Like you're everything that the group needs. But yeah, you still own your own individuality, and so I love that. I totally love that. So how do you guys handle your differences? Especially, I know being older, everybody has their own mindset and has their own ways. But how do you still keep the sisterhood, in that loving manner, but yet, when you have your differences, how do you address them, or how do you handle those?
How do you?
Well, Liz, let me tell you, my sisters can't stand me. My mama can't stand me either. They call me.
Shout out to Scary.
I'm the mother sister, because they say I act like I'm everyone's mom.
Oh.
And, I try to let my sisters be themselves because that's them, and I always give them my opinion, my unsolicited opinion. I let them know how I feel about something, and I have to tell myself, Tia, that's them. Just let them be. They'll get back to being where they need to be. But I have no problem like saying, "Hey, girl, no, you need to come down here, or you need to switch that up, or that dress is too tight or short. That's not ladylike." I'll say things like that to my sisters, and I get on their nerves. I get on my mama's nerves with that, because she thinks she's young too. But
I
respect the fact that that's them, and they know that that's me. So they just blow me off like, yeah, whatever, Tia. Like whatever, Tia. But I'm very protective and motherly when it comes down to my sisters, and I want, I know that they're beautiful and they are exhibiting their own creativity and their uniqueness, but sometimes I have opinions and I share them, and we get through it. They might snap at me, and I'll just be like, I still love you. I still love you. I just want you to know that I still love you. But no, I like their uniqueness, but I still have I have stuff to say.
Yeah, as you can see, she always has stuff to say.
Hey, we'll hear your side. Here we go.
Yeah. For me, I listen, and even if I don't want to hear it, when it comes to my sisters, no matter what they're saying, if they're right or if they're wrong, I will still listen, and I'll try to gain understanding to see where they're coming from, what their perspective is on the situation that we're dealing with. And I also understand that whatever they're doing or whatever they're saying, it's out of love and it's out of a caring place. Right. So I don't take it personal or get offended. And then I also use the boundaries, and I make space. So I may be like, girl, we're not going to talk till next Friday. I'm going to give you some time to simmer down. After you finish simmering down, I'll talk to you. 1 week, girl, 1 week. We're on break.
I'll come out. We'll be back.
We'll be back next week. But we'll come back, and it'll be love, and it'll be like nothing ever happened.
Right.
So sometimes you have to give that space and just be like, okay, I need some time, and I'm okay with that. And she'll be like, oh yeah, she's in her little thing. She need her space. And then we'll reconnect and be like, all right, girl, how you doing? What happened?
Yeah. Yeah, we do crave those boundaries though, because sometimes they're too much for me, and I won't talk to any of them for a while because I need to regroup, or sometimes just being around them, for me, it takes a lot of energy. If I'm around too many people, it takes all my energy away. And so I have to regroup. So I won't talk to any of them for a while until I get a call from my mom saying, oh, so you're not talking to so-and-so? I'm like, Mom, I have to get myself together. I spend too much energy dealing with them, and I'm not feeling like myself, and I need to get back to myself. But I think all of us, that's how we all are. Like, we create boundaries. If we're too much for each other, we'll be like, you know what? Let's give it a break. Let's give it a break. Let's press pause, and we will reconvene at another time. And so it works for us, though. It really does.
Yes. Sometimes you need time to just like process things and then return. Because if you respond in the moment, act in the moment, get all in your feelings and emotions, you're not thinking clearly. You might say something you regret. So you're like, no, I'm not going to go there. We're going to go next week.
I know. It won't be a week. It'll be more like a month, 3 months.
One time, I'm not calling her first. No.
Right. She got to call me. No, that is sisters at their best. And I mean, this can be a better conversation tonight than with you two, because shout out to my little sisters. I'm sure probably like, I wish you would say something, but but you do have to have a sister who, I have one, they're very opinionated. You have that one sister that's like that, and like you said, you're motherly, but you also have that one sister that just shuts up and says, or just hears everything, and you set your boundaries and you keep it moving. And so wherever you are, but what I love is that you both respect whoever each other is in those moments, but you know how to see yourself and to say, okay, this is too much for me. I need to pause. Regardless if we're family or not, you don't have to take everything, right? You can be respectful and say, hey, we've overloaded, and at this point we need to just take a moment. And so, did it take you guys a while to get to those places, or did you just kind of already kind of have that, let's take a break,
No, I
walk
think
away?
We've always, I think we've kind of been like
it's
that.
it's gone in phases,
Yeah.
right? Because of course we were younger, and like I
Right.
said, being the youngest again,
Right.
you feel like you have to go and do whatever they say. You can't
True.
stand your own ground. And then as I got older, I'm like, I'm grown now,
Right.
Oh, you can't talk to me like that. So I think, we've always been very opinionated and free to voice our opinions and state how we feel. We've been comfortable enough to do that amongst each other, respectfully. But as we've grown and gotten older, it's very different, because when you're on that whole self-worth journey, you're dealing with so many things being young and being like, is it okay for me to like say certain things, or how far do I take it? What do I do? So when I say you're in like different stages, it's because of like throughout the years, you're a different person. You're constantly evolving and growing. So the way we deal with each other is different. It definitely isn't how it is now where it was when we were younger. So yeah.
No.
You want to add to that?
I don't know. She said everything,
okay.
Liz. Actually,
Yeah. Girl, look at that.
I saw value in my word.
Yes.
And guess what? This is recorded. You can always play this back and show her. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. But no, that is so good. Like I think as sisters, we have to learn to evolve with one another as we grow. Our sisterhood should grow, right? And we should learn to, like I said, love each other on those different levels, wherever they may be. But it can always grow and become better regardless even of differences. But with that, what advice, because we're coming to a close here tonight. This has been some great tea, you guys. Thank you so much. But before we do, what advice would you give to some sisters out there, whether they are in a good place or in a bad place? What advice would you give them?
I would say always love and try not to be judgmental. Allow them to experience life and those things, because they'll always come back home. You know what I mean? They'll always come back to you. So allow them to be themselves, but also be there to support them, guide them. If they veer too far off, help reel them back in, show them love, show them kindness and compassion. And I think just embrace them. Just embrace your sister. Just embrace them. Yeah. I think that's all I can say right now.
Yeah. For me, I would say I offer everyone a little bit of grace, right? You don't know what the person is dealing with, whether they're your sister or whether they're a stranger. So just give them grace and give them love, and be understanding. Try to understand. Don't and listen. Don't always have an answer. Just listen and be non-judgmental. So yeah, I think just offering people a little grace and giving them a little love, it helps. It goes far, and it makes people feel like they're heard, feel valued, feel like they're worthy, feel like they're cared for.
Yes,
Most definitely.
Yeah, that's what I
Oh, that's so good. I hope you all have enjoyed all of their good tea, this great conversation tonight. Like, that is some amazing advice for, like I said, any sisters, whether you are in a good place or a bad place, to, just love each other where you are, and be able to allow that to grow. Love can conquer a lot of things if you let it. So I truly, truly appreciate you guys even taking the time tonight. But before we close, I gotta, shout out, they have their own podcast. So I want to make sure everybody follows. I know they have an Instagram. It's called Sisterhood Unmasked. It's a podcast that they will be starting here soon, but you can follow them on IG. So definitely do so. Otherwise, you could definitely follow them here on social media. Just look their names up and you will be able to connect with them and get all the good stuff that they are inspiring other sisters out here to do. Like I said, I'm so grateful that you guys finally got to join me here on Tea Time, and we thank you so much. You appreciate them as well. There's been amazing comments. You'll definitely have to go back and read those. I also want to give a shout out to the amazing woman who did my flyers for our tea time, Miss Courtney Phillips. This is her business, TFH Graphics. If you are in the need of any graphic design or anything, she was the one that did the flyer for us, and the flyer for next time's tea time. I definitely wanted to shout her out. If you know any other ladies out there, since it's Sisterhood Month, I want to support. I want to spread their business, their entrepreneurship, whatever they are doing. Let me know, and we will spot them on Tea Time with Liz. I think my hairstylist who did my hair just recently, Lisa Roach, she's in the house tonight. She has her own beauty shop called Inner You. So if you are looking for locks or braids, she can be your girl here in Minneapolis. Or St. Paul. If you are anywhere else, you may have to travel. But once again, thank you all for joining us on Tea Time with Liz. Like I said, next time we are going to be talking about just sisterhood relationships. And I have an amazing guest, Lady Desiree Tyson, who will be joining me for Tea Time next time. So until then, thank you all for joining, and we will talk to you all very soon.
Thank you.